we've got some smooth filming today because I'm sure that there's loads to get through. I am hopeful for this go. Hopefully we have a good situation happening for us. And I actually, because setting up was, what's the word? Setting up was so intense for some reason. It was achieved intense. So I realised I stress cards in as far as our advice. So I will actually pull that for you guys through the readings that I'll be doing on my other channel, on my Shakima Live channel, where you guys will be able to sort of see that as part of the September full moon reading, and I'll be doing that on Friday. So we've got a new candle as well, guys. This is a new candle of mine that I've done. This is a water elements candle, amazingly divine. I love it. I'm just gonna try and get it up close so you guys can have a look. It's actually got real seashells, and it's got stars, it's got silica sands, like actual sand, and it smells divine. So we definitely have some great energy lending itself to our space. So I think the stress card, I think because we're sort of heading into the end of the month, your reading is obviously going to be of a different nature because you guys have already embarked on the stressful portion. That's what I'm getting coming through. You guys have already embarked on the stressful portion of the month, and to sort of ease out the month, it's more going to be a lot more of a lighter energy for Scorpio through to Pisces. Is going to be this final completed segment for the September Tarotscope. I do work part-time as well, guys, so timing is very restricted for me, but it's my divine purpose to be here for you guys to share the information as far as any insight that I receive. So I'm going to look at my notepads, as you guys already know, so that I can just make sure that I get all the information that I want to put out there. If you like the way that I sort of do my readings, if you like my technique, if you like my vibe, my energy, then comment, like, share, subscribe, pass on the message, because I think it's important that we communicate at this time, because this is a mass collective movement. I feel like in terms of the elevation of the vibrations that are about to happen through I guess the end of this year. So yeah, definitely be sure to subscribe for following the movement and being able to utilize my gifts as a part of your tool kit, if you will, to be able to navigate your way through to your divine self. Okay, touching in on some of the things that I'm going to be doing for you guys today. Also, if you do like my readings, guys, and the way that I do things, definitely sort of book yourselves in with me. That's www.shakimabrown.com. And in fact, if you're not in a position to, I guess, pay anything towards, I guess, the movement of what I'm doing, if your circumstances simply doesn't permit it, I have free stuff for you too. If you need a reading, a one question reading, get a 7 minutes voice note, email, just sort of check out my website, just go to the free tab and you'll be able to either request your free prayer of manifestation, because I believe that speaking the word into existence has divine healing in itself, or if you just need yourself a free reading. We'll just see what the guys have to say themselves. Okay, I'm gonna get straight into what I'm going to be doing for you guys for today's reading. I feel like I want to just sort of stretch the energy through me. There's a lot of energy in this space. But for you guys, so for Scorpio through to Pisces, closing out the zodiacs, I will be doing some tarot cards. I'll be pulling some tarot cards for you guys to just get an overall view of what's going on towards the end of September, closing out the month. I'll also utilize some angel card clarifiers, some general clarifiers from the energy deck as well. We also have some universe cards, I guess message from the universe cards. We've got some love and light cards to give us some divine insight, and we also have some romance cards as well to look into the love side of things, to see, you know, what's really taking place there. And I would like to just put out that the way that I do things, like I've recently like had to come to honing this for myself. Like, I'm not a fortune teller. That is not my intention. That's not what I come here to do. I'm a healer, and the information that I have is to assist those who are willing to truly embark on their process of healing, so that they can let that divine spark, that fractal of divinity that is within them, come to its ultimate being. Okay, that is my only intention for you guys. So without further ado, because I don't want to sort of keep going on about stuff without actually getting into anything. Sorry guys, my tea's gonna go cold, and you know me by now. Got my chamomile going so I can just settle into the space here. Also, do check out my other page with my dear friend, I love her, Charlotte Crow. That would be our Bush Chronicles of 101. I will leave a link in the bio, and that's basically where you'll be able to get more of an insight in terms of what I do, ritualistically, in terms of keeping myself aware and conscious and woke, if you will, and just how, you know, two different people embark on a journey that is so divinely unique, and share our tools together. And eventually the intention and aim is to be able to share the tools with you guys as well. So yeah, I'm sure that, you know, for the right people it will fit. I'm gonna get into the reading, guys. Don't worry, I've got you covered. I just need to make sure that I'm completely set and ready for venturing into it for you. Right, so let's get some insights. Spirit, what do we need to know at this time for the month of September for Scorpio? What do we need to know? Okay, your transformation, Scorpio, is happening over imbalances. Yeah, imbalances in so many different areas of yourself, in your emotional state and your ability to manifest because of that emotional imbalance. Ultimately, what's happening with the energy now is that the manifesting side of things, you're almost at that point where you're determined to really get past that darkness that's sort of holding you. I felt it. That darkness, okay, that is holding you trapped in contention of all the things that it's telling you that you can't do, all the things that it's telling you that you aren't good enough for. Because really what's going on right now is that you're really withdrawing. There's going to be some isolation towards the end of the month of September for you guys. Okay, closing out the month of September, Scorpio. And when I say withdrawing, I don't necessarily mean just from withdrawing from the outside world. I mean you're withdrawing from that imbalance. You're finally wanting to work through the shadows to get into more practicalities, to get to that place where manifesting is a possibility for you, to get to that place where you have some security, some down-to-earth energy. You know, that motherly, homely sort of representation is what you'll be exuding in terms of your energetics presence towards the end of September. And again, this is for my Scorpios that have been doing the work, because this has required strength. This has required courage, and it's taken a lot of patience to get to this point where you're finally able to just move past those self-protections, because there's no need to continue to protect yourself. And you don't necessarily have to look at the situation from solely a materializing aspect of things. Now is where that indecisiveness that was really sort of not in alignment with your true values, because you were emotionally imbalanced, and that was not allowing for you to be your divine self. It wasn't allowing for you to just take risks and just venture on to new beginnings, new paths. It's almost like you weren't able to be spontaneous. You weren't allowing for spirit to just be. And now is really an opportunity where that free spirit is going to sort of be able to, how can I put it? That free spirit it's experienced that there's been dishonesty in terms of its group identification. So as far as how you saw yourselves in the external world, Scorpio, this is going to bring you happiness, because you'll get more clarity on how you view yourself in the world around you. And there will be some fresh perspectives. There will be insight over, over discouragement, over lack of faith. And you will ultimately be a lot more efficient in terms of how you do things, in terms of how you manifest, because it had to happen that way, so that you can walk away from the things that isn't for your emotional growth. Okay, the types of things that were causing tension and conflict in your ability to be able to walk through to your rebirth. So those factors are the things that are really going to be a little bit more vibrant towards the end of September. Okay, I already got into so much, and there's like barely anything left. You guys are going to be releasing your financial constraints, your poverty constraints, restrictions in itself, as far as over your manifested world, will be released. This is a specific time for you, Scorpio. And all I can say to you guys is use it well, because this can really bring a change in ways that will see something greater than what you thought was possible for you. Balance. Okay? Ultimately, that's what Spirit was doing all of the things that you've endured up until this point for, to bring balance into the space, so that you can have that spiritual recovery, that spiritual rejuvenation. Spirit needed to be able to get to that point where the shadows are no longer a factor, where the things that are bounding and the things that you're bonded to in the material world weren't more important than what you were meant to be doing whilst you're here, soul searching, your inner guidance. That's why you had to take all those paths that came up. That was down to a higher power. That was down to a divine intervention. That was down to the esoteric realms of things. Do you know what I mean? It was down to that mysterious realm of things, the mysticism aspect of life that we have very little understanding over. And that had to happen because there was just not enough confidence in the space. Okay, there wasn't enough self-confidence, and it was almost a fall from grace. I'm sure it was a fall from grace, in fact, because it meant that it was affecting the foundations. What was happening before was affecting the foundations, and there's going to be balance over this. There's going to be balance over the imbalances that were, your work and family life commitments. There wasn't an equal playing field there, because it was almost like there wasn't enough discipline. And now you guys are working on the balance in the space. You're giving too much of yourself out in terms of your work and family space. And although, it's the work stuff, I know for you guys, Scorpio, it's something that you guys can do with your eyes closed, and I get that. Like, if it's something that you feel comfortable with, if it's a field that you are naturally gravitated towards, right? But ultimately, when it's not things that allows for you to be your true self, your happy self, it does bring temporary depression. It does bring a need for control. It does bring a need for some stability in the space. And that's what had to happen over the choices that were being made, because they were coming from an emotionally insecure place. And that wasn't going to serve you for where you're about to go. Okay? I feel like I'm already getting into so much, and I'm gonna try and keep this as clear as I can and as short as I can. Okay. I think ultimately the crossroad for you guys is ensuring a solid foundation for yourselves. And a lot of this has to do with the father figures in our lives, and the structure that we had growing up. And I think what we have to understand and realize, because I'm sure that there's a lot of us out here that are like fatherless children. Even if we had like a father in the home, we don't have dads. In terms of that emotional connection with, you know, that fatherly energy that we have. And I think what's ultimately happening now is to really let you know all the ways in which you have been affected by the imbalance that was in the home, that was supposed to be your foundations of self. And you're now sort of crossing that path. You're now sort of understanding the tension and conflicts that is in that path, that does sort of affect your ability to communicate, to verbalize things. But there will be progress beyond that. Okay, there will be a lot more hindsight. There will be a lot more preparation. You now start to think before you say certain things. Okay, you'll start thinking before you act even. Okay, you start thinking before you act, because you got to a point of being overburdened. You got to a point of taking on too much responsibility, to the point where you're actually avoiding any kind of responsibility because you're taking on so much. It's not allowing for you to, it's almost like you're taking on the responsibility to distract yourself from what it is that you don't truly want to focus on, from what it is, you know, really exists within your moral being. But it's almost like that there isn't enough to keep you motivated to actually want to venture into it. But Spirit's saying that it had to be done. It had to be done. This is where you are as a collective, Scorpio, in terms of, can I say, this is a general reading. If you guys want a personalized reading, I can go so much deeper into understanding more about this on an individual level for you guys, which is why I said to you, book yourselves a personal reading via my website. But the things that are coming for you, Scorpio. I get the sense that this is about completion. I get the sense that this is about completion, because ultimately what happened was that there was a lot of dissatisfaction. There was a lot of greed. And it was basically causing a lot of indecisiveness. And that's what was causing your delays, because it's like you think one thing one moment, and then God's giving it to you, and then it's like, but that's not what I wanted. But we really have to be clear with the divine what it is that we truly intend to create in this space. Because ultimately what was happening was that you were wanting this big change in your life. You were wanting this big transformation in your life, but you were carrying baggage. You wanted the change, but you weren't willing to actually move on into the space of security that you so wanted. You actually felt like there was so many choices that were being offered that it was causing a lot of conflict. It was causing a lot of tension. But ultimately, what's going to happen for you guys? Let's see. What's the outcome for Scorpio? What is the outcome for Scorpio, Spirit? We have our answer. The outcome for you guys is that there will be a lack of direction, there will be a lack of control, and there will be a lack of aggression. You guys don't need to be that base or body of water that's charging in at the situation. Your water, utilize that to flow with the energies that are present. Utilize that to just hang still. Know that everything that's happening is as it's supposed to divinely play itself out at levels beyond what we can see or perceive as man. And if you just release your own, let go and sacrifice is what the hangman is doing. He's sacrificing to a higher power that is truly beyond itself. And by doing that, you will ensure that ultimately, I'm looking at the cards, guys, bear with me. There's a lot going on for you guys as well. I want to say that this is a big emotional push towards the end of September for you guys. I see for you guys, it's almost like that path of feeling like you've missed opportunities. That wasn't for you. It's almost like that lack of closure where you looked at the situation like, okay, they've gotten away with something. There's something that has been, missed or lost. Don't worry, because there will be a reunion. But what is happening with that is that ultimately that reunion will see that you will be able to relieve yourself of the blindfold. You'll be able to, get into that place of moving past indecisiveness. I want to make this clear to you guys. If you don't release, if you don't let go and let the divine, this is ultimately not your outcome. If anything, you'll find yourself continue to be more mind-boggled. You'll find yourself to be in a state of confusion. You'll find yourself to be information overload as the guides are trying to give you guidance, and your ego is focused on what it's trying to create in the space that truly exists on the divine planes of existence. Ultimately, spirit gets the final say, and that's what we get to learn, I guess, for you, particularly this month, Scorpio. And understand that the lack of control for you, if anything, is ultimately to bring those solid foundations, because the fall from grace that you had in terms of your ego being bruised, it's still affecting your ability to make certain decisions. And that's why Spirit's asking you to let go, so that you can just let Spirit do what it needs to be able to give you your healing. Asking you shall receive. All you have to do is let go. Spirit's telling you what, it's prepared to give at this time. Energetically, at the minute, we've got like the full moon at the end of the month on the 25th of September in Libra. We're moving into that place where there is potential confusion. Like, Libra can be a little bit chaotic if it doesn't have all of its shit together. Come on, it's an air sign, air lends itself to so many different things, to breathe life into so many different things, and if it has no direction or guidance, it will just be to shit with it anyways. So ultimately, just really be aware at this time, and understand that when Spirit's speaking, listen, it's for you to receive that message. You were divinely guided to that moment. Because your cards didn't actually even turn up upright, I even want to do like a full reading for from divine. Well, I say a full reading. I want to pull cards from the divine Love and Light deck by Doreen Virtue. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I'm channeling this stuff, so I get tongue twisted. I get tired. Bear with me. You know what I mean. Oh. Gentleness is the path of peace. Cooperation and partnership bring great rewards. Move boldly into a golden future. Give peace a chance, and God will lead the way. God will lead the way for you guys. Honestly, as I've put it out there, the cards continue to say it. This is really just a time for us to let go. This is a time for us to release. Look, divinely just letting go, and there's so much beauty in it. There's so much relaxation in it. There's so much effortless energy in it because the energy is already so abundant. Gentleness is the path of peace. Don't forget that, Scorpio. That is what you need to know from the divine for the month of September. Okay? I'm going to give you guys I'm going to pull some romance cards for you guys to see what's going on in your romance space. And then I will pull an energy card for you guys. What's in store for Scorpio romantically, Spirit, for the month of September, for the time we have left, for the 19th through to the 30th of September? Healing family issues. Guys, ultimately what's happening right now is that you're changing your perspective on what you see home to be. Okay, for a lot of us that come from broken homes where there wasn't a father present, we really have to understand what does that reflection and identification look like to us, because this is how we're creating the world around us. And if our perception is all sorts of messed up, it's really not going to, serve us any purpose. But ultimately there will be some engagements for you guys. You will find that it is safe to love. That's what the end of September brings for you guys, by really clarifying how you feel about relationships, by acknowledging your relationship with your father. For females, this is the man that taught you who you were going to become as a woman, whilst your mother showed you who you should be as far as a woman to the world externally. So this is a very significant relationship to have, and your romance card's actually just fallen on the floor. So I'm going to go and pick that up and come back with some more insight, guys. Wow. Trust. Okay? Trust is the unique and divine guidance for you, Scorpio, through the month of September as far as your relationship. Trust that flirtation will get somewhere. Trust that flirtation is coming from a passionate place. That person that's coming in, that's like really quite, I see it's almost like they're quite charming. You like their energy. It's almost like you light up when you see them as well. They're saying express your love. Express your love flirtatiously as well. That's what this relationship at the minute is for, because it does have the potential of true love. It does have the potential to attract true love into this space for both of you guys. And the only way to really be able to do that is by letting your friends help you at this time. Pay attention to the red flags. So for some of you, if you have friends and they're saying to you, look, the relationship at the minute where you guys are, I feel like maybe you guys need to take some time apart, or all this kind of stuff, right? They are saying absolutely do take on board what those friends are saying in terms of their saying, don't take those red flags lightly. Pay attention to them, because the things that you guys are manifesting, the broken places that you guys are manifesting from, it's really affecting what has the potential to be true love for you guys in this space. It's really affecting the natural chemistry and order of things. Okay, so just keep an open mind. That's the advice. Keep an open mind over your relationships. Because ultimately there are going to be some past life relationships that are going to be playing themselves out at this time. We're going to be releasing codependency and move more into a place of engagement very soon, where it's a case of self-engagement. Because as we engage in ourselves, we engage in others. We become a little bit more open to somebody else in our space. We become a little bit more present to being in somebody else's space equally. Okay? I'm just going to go back actually to your divine guidance card, because again it just correlates so well with the trust card that's popped out for you for your romance. The gentleness is the path of peace. The card states, the Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. That's Psalms 23 verse 1 to 3. And I read this every day because it's on my altar, paying homage to my great gran, who was actually, she was the one that is naturally gifted, and yeah. But Psalm 23 1 to 3. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. Just know that everything that is happening for you at the moment, just trust it. Because the situation is calling for you to have faith. That's what's happening for your romantic life. That is what's happening for your personal life. That's what's happening for your career life at the moment. Everything ultimately is to bring you into that place of solid foundations, that place of groundedness, that place of security that you so crave. Now, I'm going to finish up for you guys with the energy cards and see what the message is there for you guys. What is the final message for Scorpio this September 19th through to 30th, Spirit? What is the message for Scorpio? Again, we're having a lot of hostilities in terms of our abilities to communicate. You're releasing that contract though. You're releasing that contract with the hostilities. It's no longer something that you're going to be giving your power to. It's no longer something you're willing to give your temple to, your vessel to. So that's an amazing place to be. You finally understand your door of value. You finally found your door of value, and that's what's coming for you throughout the month of September, because ultimately there will be self-realizations, there will be some crown chakra activation, and during that process it's a case of calling upon the Archangel Uriel, because they are there to assist you. Ultimately, Metatron is going to be a part of the divine guidance for you at this time, activating your third eye. That's the intention, at least. I see that it's reversed, so you need to utilize the energy of Metatron. It's not, completely in its abundant form just yet. But, sorry guys, big cards, small hands. But ultimately, it's possible. It's all a case of divine intervention, so you just have to be mindfully aware of what's to come, okay? Because there will be a man with a coin, man holding a coin. This is your opportunity to be able to manifest truly, to be able to actively act upon what you truly voice, what it is that you want to manifest. And moving away from manifesting things based on your anxiety, based on your depression, based on your fear-based aspect of yourself, based on your poverty-based aspect of yourself, where you're just pouring out all of your divinity into the external world, telling yourself you can't do this, you're not good enough, all these external factors, trying to live up to something that doesn't truly exist except for somebody else. Somebody else made that rule. Why do you need to fall into direct alignment with it? Maybe a piece of it is yours, because what has happened is that the healer of ages, the healer of time, has embarked on the journey with you. It's embarked on that stormy path with you. And you've had to really sort of look at your attachments to the external world and how you view yourself because of it. Because it was affecting your ability to really forgive and move forward, particularly to do with your community, especially to do with your networking. So for your work life, that has a lot to do with it. For your, I'm not going to say for your immediate friends, but for your extended friends, you get to see a little bit more about associates, I should say. You get to see a little bit more about what they are about, and if anything, it lets you know that you no longer want to be at that place of brokenness, because you don't want to associate with those types of people anymore. And it's not something that you need to feel sad about, because ultimately it is your victory from a deeper level of yourself, from that heart place within yourself, from that place within you, that motherly. We have to first mother ourselves and parent ourselves before we become parents. Otherwise, we pass on the disruptive patterns of self-sabotage and self-abuse. And ultimately, you are now at that place where you have nurtured yourself enough to understand what it is that you do want to manifest in terms of your finances, and how you actually want to go about manifesting your finances. So towards the end, there will be some restrictions for you somewhat, because I get the sense that you're picking up from having pushed your ego all into one place anyways. Do you know what I mean? Putting your ego in where you saw it going, rather than where spirit was actually trying to guide you. And now that is going to come with some financial restrictions, but I don't see it being for a long time. I actually feel like it's just so that you understand the value that you have by placing your value in the right direction. It was more of a guidance tool for you to let you know that your root chakra wasn't as effective as it needed to be, in terms of its strength, in terms of its own personal identification, because your magician was actually not being nurtured enough by the ego, because there were situations as far as a happy family that threw off your sacral chakra, your second chakra, and that affected your heart space, that affected your ability to come to your self-realizations. But ultimately, you won't be acting from that place anymore. You won't be acting from that place anymore, and that's going to be down to divine intervention. What is the card for Scorpio? What do they need to know for September for their transformation, spirit? Okay. Wow. Spirit saying that you're about to go on an entire journey, Scorpio. You're about to go on an entire journey beyond what you thought that you were going to go. It's almost like, you see how she has her bags packed? She don't even need those things that she has in that luggage, and she don't even realize it yet. And that's what's going to happen for you. You're going to realize that the stuff that you thought that you needed externally aren't the things that is going to get you to where you want to be ultimately in life. And that is a truly wonderful place to be, because you then release your hostilities in terms of the way you communicate. You find that place within yourself. You find your happy medium. And that is ultimately what brings you to the point of no longer needing to hold on to resentments, hold on to your inability to forgive, because you realize that forgiveness is for your own benefit. It's for healing your broken heart, and it's for healing your broken sacral chakra, because you are the one that manifested to like all that, you know, was built up around you. And now it's a case of those attachments really getting to that point where you're working on your yin, your yang, I should say. You're working on your yang. Now you're working on your external world. Now you're working on your external manifesting, and that's the journey that you'll be venturing into. I'm actually going to read the journey card for you guys, so you can get more of an insight in terms of the intention over this space. My tea's gone cold, guys, so I'm just trying to drink up. Pack your bags. The journey card foretells upcoming travel or a shift in location. It may be as simple as a vacation, a retreat, or class, or even a work-related trip. This card could also signal a move of residence or a job relocation. The upright position indicates that the plan should go off without a hitch. Still, be clear about your motivations and mindful of logistics. All of life is a journey, and this card is telling you that you have some exciting and inspiring ventures ahead. I'm happy for you, Scorpio. Enjoy. This is your affirmation for the rest of September. I am attracting wonderful new adventures to me. My life is a blessing, taking me to new places, inside and out. That was amazing, guys. Truly, truly amazing. I really actually do want to grab these stress cards for you guys, so I don't know how to pause. I don't know if that's an option here. So I may actually just, yeah, I think I may actually just go and grab them and get back, because I do want to share the stress card for you guys. Seeing as you're going on a whole new journey, I'd like to be able to give you some guidance for that path. Bear with me, guys. Alright guys, here we go. We've got the stress cards for you. And we'll pull your stress card for the month of September, as you so need your own guidance at this time, because it's clearly going to be a whole new journey for you, Scorpio. So I want to be able to provide as much insight as I possibly can for you at this time. What is the advice for Scorpio, Spirit? What is the advice for Scorpio for the end of September? What do they need to know at this time? Ooh. Okay. We had jumpers at first. This took a while to come to. Do it in slow motion, take my hand. I've been hearing this song. I think I've been singing this song a few days ago, so that is interesting, guys. Do it in slow motion. When you feel stressed, try doing something in slow motion. When you do this, you will notice you're concentrating on it more intensely. When you're concentrating, you will be more present, and being present reduces stress. Breathe. Thanks. Boost up your reflection. Boost up your reflection and do it in slow motion. Just breathe through the space, guys. It will come with, some challenges as far as what's to come, because it does see you having to release, and that is going to be the struggle in itself for you guys, but you've got this. You have got this. Ultimately, this is to bring you the solid foundations you've been asking for all year. Okay? So, we're going to go into... Oh, I've dropped my notepad, guys. Got it. Just want to make sure that I've got everything that I need to have present at all times. So, as I was saying, we shall go into Sagittarius. Okay, we'll go into the Sagittarius reading for September and see what the advice is for you guys. Okay? So, Sagittarius spirit, what does Sagittarius need to know? My fellow Sagittarian life warriors. There's a lot of confusion happening for you guys throughout the month of September. And those confusions are happening because there's sort of lack of partnerships happening because of breakups. Okay, so we know what's going on here. It's happening because of breakups. We're going to just do a little quick shuffle of the cards for y'all. Okay. What does Sagittarius need to know at this time, Spirit, for the month of September? We are open to receiving any and all guidance that is rightfully ours. Any and all answers that is rightfully ours at this time, Spirit. Bring it through. We are open to receiving. Aren't we, guys? I know I am. Again, this is all about your ability to be indecisive, because at the minute you have some, how can I put it, there's some emotional manipulation happening, especially around your career, especially to do with your tendency to be a little bit bitchy and overly emotional, because it's almost like you find yourself sulking when you don't see things going your way, Sagittarius. But there's about to be a transition from that. There's about to be a shift in the world of where you see that there has been lack of closure. You will finally learn that ultimately what happened was for your transition. Ultimately what happened was to move you away from that space, and it was to basically get you to that place where you're a lot more stealthy. Where you're a lot more stealthy, because there's a reunion. There's a particular reunion that you're anxious about. There's a particular reunion. That's what they're showing me, that you're anxious about. Something to do with some money. There's something to do with some sort of finances that you are anxious about, and they're saying at this time that restriction for you guys, ultimately there's going to be you're going to be able to be open to the changes that are coming into that space. You'll be able to not be so conflicted with what's happening as it happens, because what you thought was a lack of foresight, the obstacles that popped up, the delays that were caused by those obstacles, were ultimately happening because of your indecisiveness and confusion, really. But what they're saying is that was all going to come to an inevitable end, and it had to be that way because you're about to recover from that, and that is down to higher powers and higher realms intervening over that fall from grace that you had, over that knock to your ego, over that unvictorious situation that you had to endure, in terms of your emotional capacity with the situation. Okay, so where are my Sagittarians throughout the end of September, Spirit? From now to the end of September, what do they need to know? What do they need to know, Spirit? We shall see, guys, what Spirit has to say. Okay. And we have our answer. So for you guys, wow. For you guys, you are going to be seeing a shift in your world, internally, externally. For some of you guys, you will be traveling across the waters with this. For some, there will be a completion of a cycle in terms of your manifesting your abundance, your ability to feel finally secure, finally like you're in control of things, finally at a place where you're a lot more disciplined, a lot more in connection with your raw power, and that will be and see balance for you. The Temperance, that will see balance for you. Potentially some of you guys are going to find this balance. I think some of you guys are going to find this balance with a Cancer. That's what's sort of popping up to me for some reason. So definitely look into that, because there's abundance present in the space over that indecisiveness. But again, the cards are still pretty much the same, guys. This is ultimately where you guys are. There's indecisiveness because there's emotional manipulation that's happening, especially because somebody's being bitchy, and it's almost like there's just some serious sulking happening, and it's not allowing for that transition, that release of the fear and unhappiness. It's almost holding on to the challenges and the knight in shining armor that's supposed to be there in terms of that emotional support. you come to realize is ultimately you, your spirit, your free spirit, your spirit being able to live out in its freedom, Sagittarius. And what shall happen for you guys is that you'll see a intense transition over your ability to manifest this month, because the impulsive decisions that you've made in the past, you're no longer looking to do that. You're no longer looking to be unfair to yourself and others. You're more looking to be at a union with the external factors. You're more looking to be at a union with your emotions and the way that you do things, because you realize that there were some scattered energy, some frustrations that were caused by that confusion, and you didn't mean to confuse. You didn't mean to frustrate other people because of your confusion, but ultimately there were things that you felt that you just couldn't disconnect from. You couldn't not make a decision based on that as well, because it's almost like you had so many different options. That's how I can put it. And you were just so busy trying to put your eggs in all these different baskets, and you were weighing yourself thin. But you were prepared to do it because every single one of them seemed like such a good option. But ultimately, the soul searching means that after being burnt out and after having to release control because of lack of guidance, and realizing that there was no solid foundations to be built there was no security there, that was just going to further aggravate you and take you more into deprivation with your frustrations over being indecisive. Because you don't want to continue to be burdened, you don't want to continue to be at that place where you're stressed out, but you do want to make those achievements known. You do want to be able to bring that to light, and there will be balance for you. That is possible for you throughout the month of September, guys. What I will say that it is ultimately up to you guys and how you choose to manifest this space. I wouldn't take the opportunity too lightly. I would make sure that I am present and aware at all times. And I would pretty much just make sure that I'm with the energies that are present as opposed to against. Okay? I'm going to pull messages from the universe for you guys to sort of get further clarity on your message for the rest of September. Divine Spirit, what is the message for Sagittarius at this time? What is the message for Sagittarius for the month of September? I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. Amazing. What does Sagittarius need to know for the month of September, Spirit? What do they need to know for the rest of September 19th through to 30th? Seeing as we're that far into the whole process now. That was actually the card that was at the bottom when I picked it up for you guys, so that's no coincidence. The key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. That is where you have been on your past trajectory. That's where your soul has been. That's where your spirit has resonated in terms of getting to the point of where it is now. Because now it realizes that the universe works fast when I'm having fun. Okay? Ultimately, that is what is almost, how can I put it? That is what is realized at this time. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. Okay? When I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will always be guided back to the light. That is ultimately what the universe is trying to say at this time. Just be open, guys. Bear with me. I'm probably going to have to wrap up, I guess, after Sagittarius, but I will probably, I don't know how to mute or pause the video or anything. So we'll probably try and do that because I do need to actually take a break. I know we're like sort of only almost an hour in, but I do need to take a break. For some reason I pulled the angel card up for you guys, so I'm just going with it. They need for you guys to know at this time that the situation will improve. Listen to your intuition. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, your intuition is telling you no. And that is ultimately happening because this is for divine timing. What is happening right now for you in terms of the things that you are just throwing your emotions at, being like, no, I want it now. Almost like a kid. I do it all the time, guys. And then Spirit just lets me know, like, seriously, get your shit together, girl. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, ultimately that will bring success to you, because what's happening is that they have to bring in the right people for you to get this job done, for you to get this shift happening, for you to get this transition into full effect. There are some people that are coming in. There is your soul network that is going to assist you into that next evolution of self. And in order for them to do that, you have to be where you are at this very moment, because where you are right now is abundance. You just have to reach out and grab it. So for the people around you, utilize them. Make some reconsiderations in terms of how you can compromise and make circumstances work for everybody overall, so that you can find a peaceful resolution. Okay? That is ultimately what the angels have to say about the situation for you guys throughout the month of September, guys. I am going to pull some romance cards and see what pops up for you guys. Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for the month of September 19 through to 30th? It's safe to love. That's what you guys need to know about your romance at this time, guys. Have heart-to-heart conversations. It's safe to love. Don't be so cut off from the world. Don't be so, you know, sometimes it's like a slow burning fire. Don't be that slow burning fire. If anything, be that abundantly beautiful, radiating fire that you can be. Communicate your heart. Express your true self. Express your true nature. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. That's what you need to do in your romance at this time. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all, so that you can heal family issues, so that you can move past the masks that are manifesting in your relationship. Express your love. There's no need to be so... You don't have to be like that flickering sort of energy. You can be more that nice calm, that bright light, you know. But the ultimate advice is to have heart-to-heart conversations. Okay? I feel like for you guys, I've already given so much. I'm going to pull a Divine Love and Light card, and then I'll read this card to you guys as your final card. And then we'll go into a stress card for you guys. Okay? Spirit, what does Sagittarius need to know for the month of September 19 to 30th, which is where we are now? What do they need to know for the month of September? Cooperation and partnership bring great rewards. Again, there's the right people coming in, guys. You just kind of have to give it. Let love light the way. I was just about to say, you just have to give it a chance. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. Just know that there is a divine opportunity being presented to you, so that you can honor your true individuality, your true uniqueness, the true spark of love that is within you, that is waiting to express itself externally to the world. There is a corporation of the soul family that is going to allow for you to bring this to light so that you can breathe in your divinity. Okay, I'm going to read the Let Love Light the Way card for you guys, so that we can get your guidance for the month of September. Even though it's cold as hell now, guys. It's actually not too bad. I love some chamomile. Facing a big life change can bring up fears of the unknown. Perhaps you can recall some ways in which your life changed during childhood, such as moving or evolving relationships, with your parents or friends. I felt it coming. This can lead to having nostalgia, believing that things were better in the past than they are now. You may even fear change because your childhood changes are still being processed. Yet, throughout all life changes, in childhood and adulthood, you are never alone. God and your guardian angels are with you every step of the way, aiding and protecting you. They also likely gave you helpful guidance to follow. Life can sometimes present challenges, and God will shine pure, bright light to show us the way. Facing our fears can bring about great transformation, and we can access a deep divine strength that we never knew we had. In stories of the phoenix, this beautiful bird is a symbol of rebirth, new beginnings, and hope. Surrender to the higher power and God, the higher power of God. Go figures. Knowing that the Creator has a divine plan to help us safely spread our wings. Breathe. For you guys, I get the sense that there's a lot of restrictions. It's almost like, it's almost like the manifesting's happening and you don't know how much you can take it as it comes through to you throughout the month of September, but just receive it. Just receive it, beauties. I want to give you your message as far as your affirmation, your reading, your scripture that comes with that. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. And that's Deuteronomy 31, verse 8. Deuteronomy verse 31, chapter 8. There we go. I really actually do need to just take a minute, guys. Because I've had so much going on for me the last few days. And I've actually just had work today. And I'm going to be doing so much more over the weekend. Space travel, Sagittarius. Space travel for all of my Saggy life warriors out there. Space travel. Close your eyes. Imagine that you can space travel just like that. Rising up from where you are and seeing the whole place from above. Actually, you go so high that you can see the limits of the city, the country, the earth, everything gets smaller and you go higher. When you feel good, stop right there. Look at the place where you just were. How does everything look from up there? How do you feel now from a distance? Stay in your space position for 5 to 10 minutes and then come down. From a distance, things and situations start to look smaller. The negative reaction lessens. And that is guidance from the angelic realm in itself, because that is the number 4. So that is advising to bring solid foundations, solid representation and existence to your stress levels. A journey to your favorite place. Space travel to your favorite place, guys. Sagittarius, pay attention to breathing. Space travel to your favorite place, and pay attention to your breathing throughout the process of that, because that's how you'll be able to get there and unlighten the load and unburden your cross and tap into that infinite abundance that the divine is offering at this time for you, for your evolution. Okay, guys, I wanted to be able to finish this out all the way through to I guess it's Pisces, but I do feel like I need to just take a break. As you can tell with sort of how I've been on the cards as well, I just need a minute to ground myself in the energies, make another cup of tea. So just gonna give you guys some stuff before I leave. I have a new representation of self today, and this representation of self is hoping to achieve oneness with the divine that is, wisdom and clarity to receive guidance, self-love, inner beauty, manifested externally, peace, happiness, laughter, and paradise. That is the intention. Put some intention for yourself over the space that you are creating for yourself, because it is ultimately your divine creation. If you would like some personal assistance, hit me up for a personal reading. I do so many different amazing things, guys, that I don't take the time to really like plug on here, because I don't know if it's like the time or place for it, but just check out my website and you'll see all the stuff that I have to offer. For those of you guys going through, you know, romantic stuff, I do Adam sign readings, which is basically a means of being able to map the actual twin flame in astrological existence. It was just something that Spirit guided me to, and I basically now utilize it to be able to explain to others how the two halves of the one soul that manifested itself here in the divine masculine and feminine reflections of itself, finds itself here regardless, so that it continues to embark on its own process of evolution on the journey of self-enlightenment. And there's a time portal for that. And that's what I map for you with astrology. Ultimately what happens is that you'll be able to see how it all interconnects by the time I've done the numerology on it, by the time I've really gone through like the moon cycle phases of it. There's a lot. And I also do mentoring. I don't like to call it counseling, because I'm only human myself, and I can only sort of allow you guys to benefit from the tools that I've come to know, utilize, and understand works for me. So I consider it a mentorship program, and there's tons of different options for that. And we can obviously reconvene remotely or in person. I am working on location with the YARA Foundation to be able to bring that into manifestation, so that you guys have location facilities for, you know, meeting up with me to be able to go through your mentoring, to be able to go through your coaching, because I will always be your biggest cheerleader. Woo! Outside of yourself, of course, because you coming to this directional path on your journey means that you're showing up for yourself, most importantly. But yeah, I'll be back to do the Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces reading. And I get that, actually. It would have been too big for me to go into this, because Capricorn is my moon and Pisces is my sun sign. So that would have been two very big energies for me to embark on. I probably overextended myself by assuming that this could have been done in the one go, but I will let this upload and give myself a breather and come back into the space to continue for you guys as far as sharing insights and some wisdom. Okay, I might actually even go and pick up my little sister from her cheerleading. But we'll see how the night goes, but I'll be back for you guys anyways. Okay? Mwah. Blessed spirits, love and light, positive well wishes to you all. Continue to strive for your divine excellent self.